Ladies and gentlemen, as we commence, please keep your mic unmute until you open for questions. Please also utilize the chat box as we will be monitoring it for your questions and will be answering them during the first and second Q&A session after the presentations by gentlemen. We now graciously invite MEF President Yang Berbahagia Dato' Dr. Syed Hussein Syed Husman to give his welcoming remarks.
Oh, that's the power of 16 scoops at the back. Right? Come on by that. I will be on by. Go. Go. Okay. Yeah. Put on the glasses. Sometimes I forget not bring my glasses. Then when you go there, suddenly start again, you say, why everything is so blurred? Then you realize you didn't take out your glass. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Very good morning to all of you. Respected partners from UNDP, ILO, HRD Corp, TOXO, distinguished MEF members, and also a special thank you to Lee Kun from MEF who has put this program together. It gives me great pleasure to welcome all of you to this important briefing session. Your presence today is a strong reflection of a shared commitment to advancing inclusive employment and ensuring that people with disabilities or PWDs have meaningful opportunities to contribute fully to Malaysian workforce. This session is not just another meeting on our calendar. It is with a noble mission to inspire greater action in hiring PWDs and to expand apprenticeship and work-based learning opportunities that empower PWDs to achieve their fullest potential. Let me set the context. As of 2024, Malaysia has registered more than 700,000 people with disabilities. But as I speak now, it's 700,001. That includes me now. That's not in the figure. This statistics tells a sobering story. It highlights the persistent barriers faced by PWDs, but it's also challenging us to rise to the occasion and be a part of a solution. The 13th Malaysian Plan gives a clear direction. 1. To raise the ceiling by creating quality jobs and embracing inclusive digitalization. 2. To raise the floor by strengthening social protection so that no one is left behind. And 3. To strengthen governance by ensuring services are delivered with accountability and inclusivity. Our focus on PWD's employment today is fully aligned with these national priorities as outlined in the 13th Malaysia Plan. I would also like to add that this is also in line with an ILO program called the Social Justice Program. In the Social Justice Program, it's all about fairness, trust, inclusivity, and no one must be left behind. Yeah. Employers have vital roles in this agenda. Employers' roles are threefold. First, to hire and retain PWDs, ensuring that they have meaningful work that reflects their skills and talents. But I think the key word here is not only hire, but we must do everything within our means to make sure that we retain them. Second, to create pathways through apprenticeship and work-based transition successfully from educational into employment. Third, to partner with government and international agencies, leveraging wage subsidies, training grants, and accessibility to funds to make inclusivity both practical and sustainable. This session has been designed with your needs in mind. Today, HRD Corp present the ability schemes to support PWDs employment. SOXO will share inclusive employment initiatives, and UNDP ILO will introduce innovative apprenticeship model. More importantly, this platform gives you the opportunity to raise your questions, voice your concerns, and explore solutions directly with the relevant stakeholders. MEF hopes that this dialogue is engaging and solution-driven. Whether you are micro, small, or medium enterprise, taking your first steps in inclusive employment, or large companies strengthening ESG commitments, today's discussion will equip participants with practical tools, clear guidelines, and a deep understanding of the opportunities ahead. By the end of this session, I hope participants will leave with 1. Confidence in the support system already available, clarity on how to assess and apply for them, and optimism about positive impact that inclusive employment can bring to your organizations. MEF firmly believes that talent knows no barriers. With the collective effort of government agencies, national organizations, forward-looking employers such as yourself, we can build a future that PWDs are not only included, but are recognized as valued contributors to Malaysia's growth and prosperity. Thank you once again for joining us this morning and for your committed support to this important cause. Let us work together to create a truly inclusive world of work. And we end by saying no one should be left behind. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. President. We now invite Encik Muhammad Hafizullah Hasan from UNDP, as well as Encik Muhammad Nizam Muhammad Badrin from ILO to give their presentation on the UNDP joint project with ILO on PWD Apprenticeship Programme.
Assalamualaikum and salam sejahtera. Very good morning. A very welcome and thank you to Yang Berbahagia, Dr. Syed Usman, the President of Malaysian Employers Federation, Ms. Gayatri from Social Security Organization, PERKESO, and Ms. Varina Carmina from Human Resource Development Corporation, HRD Corp, for your presence and strong support in today's briefing session. On behalf of ILO and UNDP Malaysia, we truly appreciate the collaboration with the Malaysian Employers Federation and Ministry of Human Resources agencies in promoting inclusive employment, particularly PERKESO and HRD Corp programs. For colleagues joining us online, I'm Nizam, the National Program Officer from ILO Joint Project Office. Me today, colleagues representing UNDP, Mr. Hafiz, Puan Yanti, and Mr. Furkan. Without further ado, I'll pass the session to Mr. Hafiz from UNDP to brief about the UNDP ILO joint project on PWD access to open employment with enhanced social protection. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. So my name is Hafiz. I'm from UNDP Program Associate, currently handling this PWD project. So first of all, I would like to thank all the MEF colleagues for making these things happen. So perhaps I can just start with my presentation. So this presentation titled Briefing Session with the Malaysian Appellate Federation is brought to you by UNDP, ILO, and MEF. Of course, with the support from MEF, we managed to gather more than 100 people today. So before we dive into the presentation, let me quickly review the structure of this presentation. So we will start with the background information on PWD employment in Malaysia. Then we will give an overview of the PWD project from UNDP and ILO. And then next, from there, we will present on the details of the PWD Apprenticeship Programme, followed by discussion on roles and responsibility, what is expected from everyone, and then we will go through the expected timelines. And finally, we will share the survey or QR for the expression of interest. Just a brief background on status of PWD in Malaysia. As you might aware, currently Malaysia has over 700,000 registered persons with disabilities, and this represents about 2.2% of our population. So from this number, nearly half of them are of working age, and yet in total we only have about 11,000 people employed, both in private and the public sector. But for the public sector, the representation is just 0.3%, which is still below the 1% quota. So what this number actually tells us? This number shows us something very important, which is there is a gap between potential and opportunity. And that is exactly why the government of Malaysia, together with UNDP, ILO, PERKESO, and HRD Corp MEF, has taken up this project. So we are in the midst of finding a practical way to close this gap, to build more inclusive policies, and to make sure PWDs have a fair chance to contribute to our nation's growth. So now, turning to the issues and challenges. So previously, for the past 1 year, we have conducted 5 stakeholder sessions with various stakeholders from academics, NGOs, CSOs, private entities, and the PW communities themselves. And then from this stakeholder engagement, we have identified 5 issues that were constantly raised by all these members. So first of all, is on the policy and implementation. What this certainly refers to lack of awareness in the procedure, lack of awareness in the available government assistance, data gaps, and the monitoring and evaluation of the policy related to PWD employment itself. So secondly, on the employer attitude and biases, this simply refers to negative perceptions toward PWDs, where most of the employees, or based on the feedback we get from the PWDs, they felt like the employees look them as a burden. And then the third place is on the workplace accessibility. So this simply refers to perhaps the physical construction of the building itself, or the absence of assistive technologies that can help PWDs to work efficiently. And fourth, on the job quality and career progression, PWD often felt that there is a lack of supportive or career development where they can be promoted to a better position versus what they are currently doing in their daily routine jobs. And finally, on skill and training. So here it says it simply reflects on the inadequacy of or inadequate access to skill development, training, and guidance. So next. So in response to these challenges, and with the support from the Malaysian UN SDG Trust under the Ministry of Finance, UNDP and ILO have launched a project for the period from 2024 until 2026. So the aim of this initiative is to address the employment and social protection challenges faced by persons with disabilities. So how are we doing this? So our approach brings together data analysis.
Question.
Sorry? Okay. So how are we doing this? So our approach brings together data analysis, stakeholder engagement, and innovation solution to strengthen capacity of both PWDs
and employers. We are also working on closely with our PERKESO and HRD partners to promote the current incentives which currently in place, but this one will be later presented by our partners themselves on the incentive available for you guys. And finally, moving forward, we are planning to launch this PWD Apprenticeship Programme, a pilot project which plan to help businesses to develop the capacity in order for them to be able to employ PWDs effectively. Next, just a brief overview of the entire project. So basically, we have three outputs. First is, I would like to divide this output into three. One is the sense making, which is already passed, and then currently we are in the pilot stage. And then next, what we plan to do is doing the capacity building for various government officers. So currently we are at stage 2. If you see the middle box there, that's where your role will be mainly needed. So this pilot program, the idea here is to match up to at least to get 3 businesses with around 50 PWDs to test out the structure of this model. This is where collaboration with private sector really comes in, and the result will be captured in our later interim report. So just another background or another clarification on how this PWD apprenticeship actually works. So this PWD apprenticeship program is actually designed to combine training with real work experience, tailored specifically for people with disabilities. So one of the key part of this program is the micro-credential training, where what is the micro-credential training? It's a short training process. We focus training process that allow participants to build very specific skills. So in this case, the skills will be in the areas of digital marketing and customer service and customer engagement. So why are we doing this? The idea is to enhance employability by first identifying each participant's strength through job profiling, then giving them targeted training, and finally placing them in a 3 months apprenticeship with companies located within Klang Valley. So at the same time, we are also planning to work with employers, building the capacity to run inclusive apprenticeship program and encouraging employers to provide employment opportunities once the training is complete. And finally, once the training is complete, all the lessons learned will be documented, and we will use this as a basis for us to pitch to the government on what needs to be improved in order to make PWD's employment more inclusive in the future. So now is so I will explain on the roles and expectation and who are the actors that will be involved in this project. So basically, we have 4 different actors. One is the implementing agencies, second is the partners, third is the PWD, and then fourth is the companies. So implementing agency here refers to an agency that UNDP is currently planned to hire to conduct the training delivery, reporting, stakeholder engagement, capacity building, and to document the monitoring and evaluation of the entire process. So the partners here refers to all of us in this room, including with an addition of perhaps later on we will have a few PWD associations joining us. And finally, the companies. Yes, lah. So the role of each organization. For partners, MEF, HRD Corp, UNDP, ILO, we will be facilitating doing the coordination and doing the engagement, whereas the PERKESO and MEF, PERKESO and HRD Corp will be dealing with incentive and provide support on and guidance on how you can apply to these incentives. For the PWD, what we expect from them is proactive commitment, giving good feedback, constructive feedback, provide inputs on issues and challenges and how we can improve the situation overall. And for companies, this is where you come in. your role is absolutely crucial. So we would like to get your team to hire PWD, integrating them into your workforce, providing on-the-job training and mentorship, offering continuous support and guidance throughout the apprenticeship, and as well as sharing feedback that will help us to scale up this program in the future. So the feedback will come from various dimensions, perhaps from the PWD, from the partners, from the implementing agency, from the company. So all of this feedback later on will be documented by our implementing agencies. So currently we are in the process of hiring. So if everything goes smoothly, we are expecting to get these implementing agencies to work with us in early October. Yeah. So hopefully that's clear on the role of each different actors. And now on the expected timeline. So the entire project is expected to take place starting from October until February next year, with the total duration of 6 months. So the first 2 months will be conducted mainly by our implementing agency, where they will do the job profiling with job analysis, design the training module, and start to engage with different PW communities together with expected employees to find out where this delivery can be placed later throughout the process. And then starting for December onwards, this is where the exciting parts, where the 3 months on the job training will take place. So basically, what happens during these 3 months, the employer will start to hire PWDs, guide them, provide mentorship to them, and then collecting inputs on various challenges, and then these inputs later will be shared to the implementing agencies. But before that, sorry, I forgot. The implementing agencies will also conduct a 5-day training, both to the PWD and employers, so that they understand the needs and what actually required for the to make sure the progress of the program. So finally, in February 2026, once the program is finished, that's where we will collect all the inputs, consolidate all the information, and try to produce something that will perhaps be pitched to the government officers, government agencies, on what can be improved within the sphere of PWD employment. So thank you. So this is a short survey. So this survey later on we will share again. Perhaps after the second and the third presentation, this is where we want you to perhaps express your interest. If you would like to be part of the program, where you can have various benefits on the incentive provided by SOCSO, knowledge sharing on best practice, and getting tools and guidance from ILO. And if you also would like to get direct engagement with participating companies and SMEs and expand your current network, so you can register via this QR. So I think that's all from me. So don't worry about this QR. We will share this again later after PERKESO and HRD Corp presented their presentation. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Hafizullah. For any questions, you may ask them later during the Q&A session after the presentation by HRD Corp. We now invite Sheikh Barina Kamila Muhammad Ali Hussain, Head of Industry Outreach Services Sector HRD Corp, for her presentation on HRD Corp schemes on PWD employment.
Well, actually, can I have coffee if you want to, you know? I have milk. Wait for a second.
Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. First of all, I would like to say thank you and welcome to MEF and UNDP and also ILO. Of course, I would also say that this is a great opportunity for us as well HRD Corp to connect with the employers, right? It's a good platform. We're looking forward to have more like this. Right, so let me just introduce myself. My name is Farida Carmila Muhammad Al-Susai. I am the head of industry outreach in Central Region. Basically, I oversee registered employers levy utilization in terms of engagement and training within this metro region, which is inclusive of Selangor, Kuala Lumpur, and also Putrajaya. Right? All right, so let's begin with an introduction on HRD Corp. Basically, we are established in 1993, all right? And our objective is to collect levy from the key industries and also to disperse grants for training and upskilling purposes, all right? And if to like to take note that here in 2021, HRDF was rebranded to HRD Corp. Okay, now maybe I give you a bit of a brief introduction also on this matter here. Before 2021, since 1993, we were just governing only 3 sectors, which is mining and quarry, services, and also agriculture. After that, on the expansion from 2021, we have actually been mandated to ensure that we govern all sectors, all right, including financial services, including wholesales, all those kind of services. Now, when it comes to governing all these services, therefore, our vision and mission has actually been even more, I would say, in-depth, in detail, and much more streamlined to ensure that all Malaysians are employed and trained, upskilling and reskilling, and make sure the proper funding and channel utilization of this pool of money. All right. Also, I would like to touch where Company of Limited by Guarantees, CLBG, right? And we carry the Act, PSMD Act 2001. I'll give you a bit of detail what is the Act all about. So basically, as long you're an employer, all right, in Malaysia, and you have minimum 10 Malaysian employees, you abide by the Act, where you have to contribute 1% of your monthly wages of your employees, and the payment will be done in a levy, right? And by the 15th of every month. Now, accumulation of this fund eventually will give you a pool of money and amount where you can later on plan your training in terms of upskilling, reskilling, and also facility refurbishment in terms of your training room, which I will share with you later on, for the benefit of your employees and training mindsets and well-being. Okay, if you can see on the other section here, we also have the section 15. All right, this is a voluntary purposes. For those who have Malaysian employees that's below 10, it's voluntary, which is 0.5% of monthly wages. All right, so contributing to the levy allow organization to claim training grants, access subsidiary training programs, ultimately leading to more skilled and efficient workforce. All right, as I highlighted earlier, to make sure we want to ensure all human capital, Malaysian employees is employed and also upskill and reskill. Besides that, we want to educate and create awareness of lifelong learning journey. Why I would say lifelong? Definitely there will be an understanding over later on the next slide. Now, before I move any further here, I would like to share with you that we have offices across nations on the screen over here. And I believe we have members from across the nation joining us with here online. All right, what I would like to highlight here is to get close to your local HRD Corp offices. All right, we also have open days every Thursdays. If you're unable to reach the specific officer on WhatsApp or on email, you are always welcome to visit the office. Of course, on normal days, yes, you're also welcome to walk in to the regional offices, but definitely on the Thursday open day, we're able to be more accommodative because all our offices are available there to address on all areas related to HRD Corp. All right. I believe we are also expanding, and each region has their own initiative, has their own aims and goals, how they can actually tackle the industries in based on regional, based on state level, locality of it. Because here I would like to share some lights over here is that, for example, in Penang, we have more manufacturings, and Johor, we also have manufacturing, but more to related and so on and so forth. And in terms of East Coast, okay, the challenges here I would like to share and give you some lights, since we have employers from other regions as well. Now, the East Coast, we have quite a challenge in terms of SMEs as well, all right? And also to gain their tackle in order to become a HRD Corp in terms of levy contribution is fine because they have to abide by the act, right? But in terms of utilizing it correctly, right, rightfully. All right, in Sabah and Sarawak, of course, we have other challenges as well. All right, I just want to share with you some lights in Sabah and Sarawak for employers. I would say we have money, but we need to find the training, and most of the training is in KL, in central region. Therefore, we have designated divisions who's tackling on the placement of training providers available in Sabah and Sarawak. But nevertheless, all our schemes are definitely accommodating for those in Sabah and Sarawak or in other in Penang Island and so on. We cover adequate allowances to allow you, to encourage you to come to Kuala Lumpur, to Central Side, to Peninsula, to participate in training. Okay, right. So to give you some insight, since I highlighted earlier, I'm from the Central Region Legacy, and also to share some lights on what we do as a Central Region. Again, going back to other states, countries, they have their own activities and goals on how strategically we move. But more or less on the basic items, we are quite similar in terms of nationwide moving as a outreach program. Very commonly, what we do is with employers, we have officers reaching out to employers in terms of personalized consultation. So the personalized consultation can be a physical session, can be a webinar session, all right? And then what we do over here, this session is basically we will have pretty much run through their account, what is their utilization, what kind of training have they undergo, and this kind of session where we like to have engagement on understanding more in depth. All right, what kind of assistance would you like to need in terms of training or focus area or courses that you think that is very niche for you and yet to be identified or yet to be tapped into. All right. We also do personalized L&D as well for that. Now, in terms of webinar sessions, we also do online webinar sessions in terms of larger group. All right, there is where officers will conduct weekly webinar session to know more details on schemes. All right, so probably they will talk about a HRD Corp scheme, so they will have in-depth, and they will also have case studies. They also have speakers coming on board on those webinar sessions to give you some insights, and they will have other initiatives as well. And usually it's about 2-hour webinar session. All right. Then again, we also have industry outreach, where in industry outreach, what we do is that we collaborate with associations, for example, like MEF, and then we have some programs that definitely this year we are working demographically. So what I could share some experience that we did here, right? We work with, we have issues on bringing employers from Bani, from Sungai Buloh to come out all the way to KL over here when we start at 9 o'clock. So what we do is we work with local employers, either could be that, or we work with local agencies or associations that represent certain sectors or area. And then we go to the demographic area. For example, I could give you GMI. We worked recently with GMI in Bali, and we invited employers from Bali, from Semene, from Kajang, you can name it, and those areas. They have actually participated on our industry outreach. So on this day, what we do is basically we will share them some insights, all right? And we also give them some awareness in terms of courses or challenges, all right? We have an open discussion, we have an open dialogue, field group discussion as well, all right? And also we will introduce them to the training providers. All right. So the training providers that we are looking here is basically those who our strategic partner, okay, who've already come on board, and also we give them awareness on basic trainings like safety trainings and also other professional courses, again targeting to the area. So I would like to share a case over here is that in GMI we have employers coming from electronics, mostly in Bani area, semiconductor electronics. So we will bring courses, and we also invite other regulation parties to come and give some insights. We call CRIM, we work with them to come and give some keynote speakers over there, and we will have a very in-depth discussion, sharing session and awareness. And this usually takes half day. Now, if you see on number 3, we do seminars. Now, seminars here definitely it's on a bigger scale. I believe those on regional office as well, employees in other states, the regional officers have done seminars like IT Day, and they have a lot of seminars as well, you know. So what we do over here, we work in a bigger scale where we invite over 100 employers and 100 participants and employees and so on. Okay, and then it's a whole day seminar. All right, with keynote speakers, and what we do, we try to make a network session between the government, the industry, and also the readiness of talent. All right, the local technical development council and so on. All right, and also the industry key players, the association that represents the industry or sector, and also the state government, you know, to come and share what are the grants available, how we can develop employers, SMEs, micro SMEs as well. All right. Now, finally, we have workshops because, of course, like I mentioned earlier, we do have webinar, but the webinar sometimes may not be adequate enough. What we do physical workshops, grants, levy, and claim, where we invite employees in a demographic area, all right? And then we will ask them to bring their laptop. We will physically teach them on how to apply grants, how to do claim and levy, do levy payment and so on. And you have any issues, we open. So we say like, I've submitted my claim, but then my claim has not been approved. I submitted grant, but I got appeal. So we do case studies also during this grant clinics, a physical session, all right? Definitely it's a hands-on training. And finally, we have community outreach. Now, when we talk about community outreach here is that we strongly believe in inclusivity. That's why we are here. That's why we call PWD, and then we have the B40s and so on, right? So we strongly believe in inclusivity. Now, we also believe that the Aborigines, the Orang Asli, and then the PWDs, the B40s, the women's, also the retirees, deserve this kind of outreach program. Would like to share that recently we have went to Sungai Buloh Orang Asli area, and we have worked with Malaysia Airlines. We taught them how to give CPR. It's very important because they don't know very basic thing. They don't want to come out actually sometimes. When I say come out means they don't make themselves available or take interest in this kind of awareness. So it's our duty to actually approach at their, at their comfort zone, at their base. So we went to the with the local government, Jakwa, right? So we went and approached them, and we conducted, and this is a collaboration between employer, the local government, state authority, Jakwa, and also the community themselves. So it was a very successful, and we also didn't stop there. We also reach out to students as well. So when we talk about students, we're talking about students who are yet to be graduate, who's bound for employment, right? What we do is we bring employers to come in, and we give them some sort of like exposure to what you expect. If you were to come semicon industry, what would you expect? What kind of skills are we requiring? How do we prepare? Our projections on the next 5 years in this particular industry. So depending, we tackle sector by sector, right? So finally, here I would like to share with you some key statistics, right? All right, the key statistics here is as of 2024. We have collected 2.3 billion, and we have done a disbursement of 1.9. All right, kindly take note, this is a yearly collection, all right? And of course, the financial assistance is 2.3. All right, so when we mention here 2.3, its reason being is because there is an accumulation of some employers have been being paid from the year of the registered, all right? Okay, and you can see here total number of employees registered is 98,000, but as of today, there's 102,000 employers registered with HRD Corp. So I would say averagely every month we get 1,000 new employers. Now, how do we know about these new employers? We have a designated customer division who actually do reach out to new employers, and they come and do an onboarding session. They come and give them a workshop, all right, a 2 days workshop for free. Actually, it's on our website. You can actually just go and click and participate. And they will give you a 2 days intensive workshop on all the products and initiatives, what is available as a HRD Corp contributing levy employer, what can you gain access to. All right. And if you can see over here, we have successfully, as a nation, I would say that 1.4 million trainees that we have trained. Now, this is a very great success, and this doesn't include our other agenda like national training week. We have increased even more as we numbers over that. So this is based on grant and levy claim, grant application and levy claim. So 1.4, definitely we are breaking this number for this year. So we will announce, once we have on the year ending as well. All right. Maybe when we go further on, we'll actually talk about the training schemes, right? So here I would like to share is just that in a very glance, we prepare pre-employment, all right? We focus on pre-employment students, undergraduates, right? And employment existing employees, and also post-employment groups that are retirees and so on. And also finally, to focus on learning ecosystems and landscape. Right now, the schemes over here that we have in a glance is we have over 11 schemes, and on the right over here we have other government initiatives. Right now, for PWD today, we're going to focus on 3 types of scheme, which is the industry training scheme, and focusing on internship, future worker training. All right, and also on job training. These are the 3 schemes that we're going to talk about today. All right, for other schemes, I would strongly suggest you to join for our webinar session, or definitely you can just come over to our office for more information. All right, so let me jump straight to the ITS training over here. So the ITS training is the industrial training for students that's undergoing internship or practical before graduating. All right. We do also have students, in PW category as well. Then they are doing excellent, I would say, because we do also industry outreach with universities, and we get engaged with them, right? They're doing excellent in whatever studies that they course they pursue, right? So this make sure that you have to apply this grant before the training date is in months, all right? And the duration of it is from 2 months up to 12 months, right? So, for example, here, when you want to participate in this, you must make sure your levy balance is 50% of the, based on levy balance, is 50%. For example, if you have 100,000 levy balance, if you were to open on 1st January 2025, that means 50,000 is allocated, is allocated for you to utilize under this scheme, right? Okay, so what you gain over here, basically monthly allowances. If you pay 1,000 for your intern, you can reimburse 1,000. If you pay 1,500 for your intern, you can reimburse 1,500, as long as you have sufficient levy balance, right? Now, personal protective equipment, for sometimes you have engineering jobs, you have other, site visits, and depending on that, you can actually claim for that. And also insurance coverage, definitely, I would suggest, all right? Especially when we are catering to PWD participants. Now, what are the documents we oversee over here that we require before submitting of your grants? Definitely a copy or a letter of placement saying the institute or the university would like to, that this student is interested or bound for internship. Second is the confirmation letter as an employer yourself onboarding them. All right, it's a letter offer. All right. Finally, a copy of program structure. Now, the program structure can be coming from your end as an employer, or can also be from the university side. Usually for 6 months period, they have first month, what you have to do. So it's an itemized item. So you just have to upload all those information. All right. other than that, I think it's pretty much is the details. I think in the letter itself will state the details of the university, the supervisor, and then even in the program structure will actually inform how long is the duration of the program, all right, and the details of the training. Okay. All right. So now you have to submit for this scheme. You have to submit before they start the training day, right? Now, when do you do the claim? The claim is definitely after you have completed the 6 months. All right. Once they have completed the 6 months, the 6 months pay slips that you pay 1,000 ringgit per month, you submit everything and submit their report. They definitely have the completion report with the universities for students. What's an internship completion report? You submit all those, and then you can go for your claim. All right. So claim usually is within 6 months. You must submit your claim within 6 months of completion of the internship. All right. So next, moving along, future worker training scheme. Now, before I go in depth, future working training scheme is more to management training program. If you're familiar with management training program, it's the similar case over here. Now, what we do over here is that we assist employer to employ talents that are able to perform their tasks with minimum supervision by providing them the adequate training they require and the skills and competency before entering employment. Now, the reason why we encourage these kind of schemes is because, you see, there is talent readiness.
如果等着还要什么挖一个这个那个，你看到我这有那个没有看发展只是。
So excited again. All right. So, okay. For example, here the employers, I believe everyone here would also agree to me that you have a challenge where called skill mismatch or talent readiness is not. Yes, this person is coming out as a graduate with a degree, but I'm still missing certain skills from you. And I understand you're not able to gain those skills completely during your internship. You're unable to gain the skills during your studies of courses. So what I'm going to do as an employer, I still want you. I think I see potential in you and I have seen talents, but I want to bring you on board. But I can't bring you on board fully. So I'm going to train you. I'm going to invest on you. So that's how future workers training schemes works about. All right. Now, during this training, all right, you must make sure that you're going to finally employ them after 12 months or 4 months, depending on what's the duration. All right. So now how do I decide as an employer how many months do I need? That is totally depending on you as the skills need or the framework that you require. Let's just say I need this person to come on board with this skill, and how long it takes for you to groom this person or to send this person to them to gain competency in this skill. So let's say it takes 6 months, then the program has to be 6 months. Okay. So the submissions, of course, by the scheme, and then it must be before the commencement date. All right. Of course, minimum 4 months, maximum 12 months, and training must be conducted before employment. All right. So minimum 2 trainees, maximum 25, and then there's also understanding here. There's technical training and soft non-technical training as well. As an employer, I believe you definitely know to identify this, which training to go. All right. So just some sort of information here also to share with you is the internal trainer allowance, 1,400. And then, of course, you also have the training cost fee up to 10,500 if it's under HRDCC, okay? And also if it's half group is 6,000, okay? So I would say in these details of allowances and everything and so on, you can actually find more details in the website, right? But I'm here to actually give you what are the schemes on a surface level that you can tackle more for onboarding our PWD participants. All right. Besides that, you can also send them for public training as well. All right. And also up to 1,750 per day per pax. All right. And you could also invest them on professional courses as well. Like, for example, some IT related or SQL related data analytics or those kind of PMP courses, project management courses. You can actually invest on them. All right. So professional courses. Right. And what do you do? Required documents over here, definitely the course content, the trainer's profile, the invoice or the quotation, and employer declaration letter. So the employer declaration letter should specify that you're hiring them towards the end of the program, and this is the program, what is the objective of the program, and why do you choose this training provider, or so on and so forth. It could be some justification over there. All right, and then you submit, and then you can submit the claim again after 6 months they have completed the training. Let's say you decided that you need to get them training for 6 months. Then after the 6 months, you can submit your claim. All right. So moving along with our final scheme over here is the on-job training. So on-job training is pretty much very simple as well. On-job training is, for example, when a new employee comes in, you want to do onboarding session or you're doing orientation. So in some organization, they do it rotationally. All right. Let's say this month I want you to be in an accounting department. The following month I want you to be in the marketing department. So each department they go, they will learn new on-job training by a senior supervisor or a senior manager training the interns or junior or executive level. All right. So to encourage skilled worker supervisor to train and unskill a new worker, teaching skill, knowledge, competency, because each employer have new systems. They have to submit certain process flow and so on. This is how you teach your new hires, all right, through an on-job training. All right, and by teaching them, you can also claim under HRD Corp on-job training scheme. Now, submission, okay, kindly please take note, only for this scheme you submit after completion of training. The other two you submit before, right? For this is after you completed. So minimum 4 hours, maximum 3 hours training. All right, and then the training ratio is 1 supervisor to 1 PAX or 1 supervisor to 4 PAX. All right, and it's only for internal trainer, definitely. So the internal trainer, you don't need to be HRD Corp claimable, HRD Corp accredited or so on. No, it's just a supervisor training their junior. All right, so financial assistance for training for 50 hours per training. All right, and then you can actually there's actually a training logbook. I will show to you later on the training logbook. All right. Okay, in under this on-job training as well, I would also to share, not many is aware, but I would like to share here that you can actually claim on professional courses exam. For example, if you're sitting for ACCA, you only want to sit for the exam, but not the preparation class. The exam, you can claim under this. All right, you just submit the fee, the receipt. Now, for example, you're going to sit for the exam, but you want to buy some book for the ACCA exam, you can also claim under learning material. All right, it's for self-learning. If you can see, it's more detailed here. All right. Okay, so this is the evaluation OJT form looks like. You can actually download from the website. So basically, it's very simple. Trainer, training name, company, how long you have trained them, what area that you trained them, and so on and so forth. Right. Make sure it's finally being endorsed by the HR on this, and then you upload. For example, you're training them for 1 week on, I would say, creating processing quotations or processing PO, purchasing order. So you will submit all those documents one shot, all right, on the logbook that you have jotted down in. Okay. So this is how the logbook looks like. With the information here, so what you have done on day 1, day 2, day 3, what do you learn on the process flow of creating quotation or submitting of PO acceptance and so on and so forth, and then finally you evaluate them. All right, so please evaluate them at A and B. If you're C, please do not submit the document if it's C. That means they know they're not up to the competency level yet, or the level that you want. All right. So make sure that they reach A and B. You train them up to A and B. All right. So who will actually evaluate? The supervisor itself. But make sure this is endorsed by the HR. Okay. Okay. Finally, we are coming to our final slide over here. All right. Other initiatives as HRD Corp that we drive, right? Definitely is the 2 satellite programs is the National Training Week, which is a free program. And this year we have done a lot of, we have done a focus day, a focus segment, a program with people with disabilities, and a great achievement. All right. And we also have NHCCE 2025. All right. And other areas that we have also, so eLatte is an free online platform. We also have corporate access. You can actually reach out to us to get more information on that. And we also have the super app. And we have the National Training Index where we do a study yearly on how is the training, based on sector, on training index that they have done for their employees in Malaysia, all right? And also industry skill framework, what kind of trainings or the framework step-by-step guidance, all right? And finally, as Malaysia being part of ASEAN, chairman on this, we are all in for ASEAN Year of Skill 2025, all right? And definitely, as I mentioned, you can reach out to the local officers if you have already contact with them. You can also reach out to directly to their physical officers. Besides that, you can also reach out to us on our support center and also our super app. All right. And finally, our chatbot, Ask Bella, on the website. Yeah. All right. Hopefully, I've shared with you some insightful information here today. I would like to open the floor, some questions, maybe some questions from the chat box.
Let me, sorry. Okay, answer. Yeah, sure. Okay. Before we go to the chat board, let me also just share some of my views and why, as a Malaysian, I'm very proud. And since we have a lot of people, employers, listening to us, some of them may not know. Being a member of the governing board of ILO, I was asked, and each ILC is what we call the labor conference, which happens once a year in Geneva, where the whole world comes. 3 ILCs ago, I was asked to speak on a scheme that is very effective in Malaysia. And I spoke on HRDC scheme. And to be honest, I think the whole world was surprised that we had such a scheme that, that really focuses on talent development at a national level. And in fact, I remember the Minister of Human Resources from Italy, who was in my panel with me, and the Minister of Human Resources from France, said that they would like to actually come to Malaysia and understand how we do it at a national level. Now, 2 ILCs ago, I was asked to speak on another scheme, and I spoke on SOXO. And they were very impressed the way we cover protection for all our employees. The kind of effort that we have really put in to ensure that human lives are important. And many people also wanted to learn how SOXO works. And the last ILC, I was asked to speak on EPF. And being a board member of EPF, that was easy for me. And when I shared that to the world, you'll be surprised that that was another total surprise for the world, because EPF today is 1.3 trillion. And at 1.3 trillion, we are 12th in the world. If the government fund comes to EPF, we'll probably be 10th in the world. And for a country of our size, being 10th in the world or 12th in the world, it's outstanding. And even in India, India has just started the CPF, and they are going by states. Some states have it, some states don't have it. But you find the whole world, majority of them don't have that. And the African continent was very happy, and they also wanted to learn from us. So I want to take this opportunity and say many thanks to HRDC, to SOXO, my colleagues at EPF are not here, that whatever we say in this country, sometimes, we comment a lot in the schemes. That's perfectly okay. But when you go to the global level, I think we're doing an outstanding job. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Coming from you. So do we have any questions? I think.
Question there.
I actually answered, yeah.
All the question there. Okay, this is always question.
Oh, okay.
This I enjoy coffee.
I think that she can ask you question.
You're not drinking coffee.
You're very shy.
Okay, so any incentive, sorry, yeah, correct. Yeah. Any incentives or sponsored by HRD Corp to those companies are 90% and above levy utilization, especially SME. Now this cost fee getting higher and higher, but levy contribution not so much as SME. We are interested to participate for all schemes provided, but due to levy not sufficient, we can't fully utilize the schemes provided. Okay, so maybe I'll address the first one, right? Do we have any incentives or sponsors by HRD Corp for those companies at 90% levy utilization, especially SME? Okay, so we do also have these challenges that we tackle. All right, that SME is interested to send their participants, but insufficient levy balance, right? What we do is actually we give them awareness on to make sure you do the right type of training needed. You focus on which, don't mind hantam send everybody. That's why your levy balance is insufficient. Sorry. Reason being is because this is very commonly happening. Okay, all right. So I would suggest SME to come up with an awareness of training need analysis or how to identify which training is very crucial for your productivity, for your organization needs. Then you do the budget. All right. Now, another thing is I would give you a suggestion. So to how to assist on this, that's why we are doing seminars. We give them awareness on how to do this kind of focus studies, focus training. Okay. Now, second thing is probably you want to contribute more than 1%. Okay, it's up to you. It's totally up. We never stopped you. We never stopped you. You can contribute that. More than 1%, you can contribute that. Or you can also have your own learning and development budget. But coming from SME, I believe you can actually explore other local government, state government's initiative in order to come up with this kind of trainings. For example, I can share you one thing, it's called ITC, Islamic Tourism Center. They actually provide grants to train tourism agencies for them to be equipped for the coming 2026 Visit Malaysia, those kind of things. So keep yourself aware on other grants, other agencies, other initiatives that you can train your employees for training. Definitely is there. For technology, MDEC is there. For BCom is also, you need to keep yourself aware on this method. So, but that's the thing. Remember, I highlighted to you when we do seminars or industry outreach, we engage with these agencies because SMEs are not aware. Oh, I can tap here. Oh, it's not called double dipping. No, we will not call you that. You are just actually being strategically make sure that your employees are being trained. Yes, your levy sufficient is not enough. You have to tap this way, much more focused, right? Okay. So then, second question is like, I hope I addressed that already. Okay. The cost fee, unfortunately, is beyond our limit, right? Beyond our scope or jurisdiction for me to answer here today. This is something that you can raise as you can share with your association. They will have a discussion based on this usually. All right. But we do studies every year in order to see what's the market value and market need. And also we again highlighting, kindly, please be aware. Do you feel this amount is really cost value for the training that you're going to go? So it's very important you have that awareness as well as an employer, right? So now final question I would like to take here is, may I ask, is the industrial training scheme is applicable for all interns that we offer for placement organization, or must the intern undergo particular training program for the company entirely? Okay, for the ITS, definitely I must highlight here, ITS is only for Malaysian. You only can hire onboarding for internship for Malaysian students if you want to claim under this scheme. International students, no. All right.
Sorry, just directly. which means any form of training, as long as they're Malaysian interns, we can claim.
Yeah, because ITS is actually a 6 months, 2 months to 12 months period. So depending what is the needed for the university, some courses, 3 months internship, that's it. Some courses, 12 months, right?
Sorry. The duration wise, any numbers could be 1 month, could be 2 months.
Minimum 2, maximum 12. Yeah. So mostly in my experience is definitely 2 to 3. That's the minimum I see. The maximum they go to up to 8 months, 6 to 8 months. Yeah. So that's depending on the university's needs, the course need. Then you claim based on it. Whatever they want to go during the 12 months. All right. Because this scheme is only to claim allowances. How much you pay? You're paying them 2,000 ringgit monthly for intern student as their salary, internship salary. You claim 2,000 back from us. Yeah. But during that 12 months, what you want to train them, that you can't claim. That you can claim under FWD. Because you're bringing them, you're training, because FWD is graduated employees, graduated students, but you haven't bring them into employment yet. You want to train them before employment. You're investing on them before employment. But the employment is guaranteed, is confirmed. That's clear.
And then they are eligible for in-house training.
Sorry?
They are eligible for any in-house training as well, right?
During the
During the internship. Yeah.
it's only for the internship only. But for anything else, the only part that we cover is if the employer would like to cover them with insurance.
Right.
Yes, that is claimable.
Right.
But not for any external.
Okay.
Because that fund being paid by employer is for the current
Employees, right?
So I think someone raised their hand in the Teams. I would suggest that person to type in their question. But if you are not able, so due to time, definitely you can reach out to our office and definitely you can just reach out to our website. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Jiwain. We now invite Wan Gaisi Wadidam, Head of Employment Services, PERKESO, for a presentation on PERKESO initiative on inclusive employment and social protection.
Very good morning. Yang Bahagia Datuk Dr. Syed Hussein Usman, President of Malaysian Employees Federation, colleagues from the ILO, UNDP, MEF members online, HRDC, and it's really nice to be here to speak about a topic that's very close to our hearts. Okay, so, and today I will be sharing with you about just exactly what the MEF President mentioned just now about how important it is for us to support persons with disabilities. And the biggest challenge is, I think hiring is always not a problem. It's always the retention and the support system that we are, that's really important, and which is why we are here today to share with you a little bit about what we've been doing. Very much early on, since 2007, although the Act was incepted in 1969. And if we put a search on employment in our Act of Social Security Act, you will find more than 200 words that speaks about how a worker after an employment injury or an illness, the goal is to restore them back to at best what they were doing before. So with that at heart, but we really looked at it very much later into the rehabilitative aspect, so much I'll be sharing with you. And this is really what we are doing to see how we can optimize and ensure we can help not just our beneficiaries, but along the lines as SOCSO moved on from being a social security provider. Today, we are also playing in the playing field for active labor market programs, which is also a part of social security protection. If you look at the ILO pillars, unemployment is also one of the pillars for today. So I will be touching a little bit about both. So the first, maybe I'll just give you a little bit context just to share, because I think many of you employers would already know the role of PERKESO as a social security provider, in which we provide a variety of benefits, including medical benefit, cash benefits, and so on. But since 2007, I think it's a leapfrog strategy, looking at what's happening on the global field, in terms of changing labor dynamics and so on. We've become very active and aggressive, especially in providing social protection, not just for employees in the formal sector, but also for those in the informal sectors. And moving forward, we've also started covering housewives as well. I'm not sure you know the scheme, but today I'll be focusing very much on OKUs. But if for more information, you can actually browse the website for more information. But today, specifically on two legislative aspects in which the Social Security scheme, as well as the Employment Insurance Scheme, in which SOCSO has been tasked to look into how to restore a person with an injury or a person with a disability to be restored back to employment. Just a little bit background about how we started off, where restoration of employees back to work. In 2005, we started with the pilot project because claims were escalating, a lot of musculoskeletal related claims arising due to employment injuries and so on. We started off the return to work program following the pilot program in which we sent a group of individuals for rehabilitation. And the finding was that, yes, we were able to increase their physical capacity, but just like what the president mentioned just now, the support system. How do we ensure that they were able to go back to the right jobs? They were able to perform the same tasks? What were assistance required for them to be able to do the same tasks that they did? And who were the ones who would negotiate with the employers, supposing that they were not able to do the particular task? So there were these missing gaps in which the current CEO, who was then in 2007, the medical department head at that time, mooted this idea in which there must be a case management initiative to support workers with an injury, to guide them through the process from the time they have an injury right up to them going back to work and ensuring that they're able to perform, if possible, the same job, if not a similar job within the same employer, and a worst case scenario with another employer if they're not able to accommodate. So the whole process, and I also was a case manager at that time. So a lot of our experience was speaking to the doctors, and asking them how we can assist them to go back to work, what are the interventions required, would they need a prosthesis that is static or something that's robotic to do the work. So we need someone to bridge all these things. So that's being provided. And today, when we started on, we have five case managers. When we started on, today we have over 200 case managers that's supporting. So any cases that we see has capacity for rehabilitation, we put them into this program and monitor them and ensure that we are able to get them employment back to the same employers, and if not, support them through My Future Jobs to assist them with different employment. And along with that, among the facilities that we provide includes modification as well to support an individual to go back to work. So SOCSO actually pays for beneficiaries disease. We pay up to 10,000 ringgit worth of modification, 20,000 actually, where it's a cost sharing basis, 10,000 by the employer, 10,000 by the employer PERKESO, to support any accommodation that's required at the workplace. I think many do not know of this, incentive or facility that we have. We also provide modification car. We don't give you the car, but we provide the modification for someone who's not able to drive because of an amputation, for instance, and requires a change of the way, they put the brake and so on. So we do also provide these kind of modifications as well, apart from implants, prostheses. So anything that the doctor prescribes for beneficiaries arising out of employment injury or illnesses, we actually can provide them to ensure that the support is in place. So that's the first support that we provide. The second one that we provide is the caseworker themselves. Like I mentioned, we go down to the doctors, we discuss what is the therapy that's required, whether it's physical, whether it's occupational therapy, and we pay for the rehabilitation. And if you see the next part, 2014, so early on we were contracting hospitals and providers to do their physiotherapy, because in a hospital setup in Malaysia, as we know, we are not able to provide intensive rehabilitations for individuals, which is why we decided that it's an important thing for us to contract private providers to complement what is being done at the hospitals to expedite the rehabilitation. And when we were doing this, we thought that this is so important in the recovery process, which mooted the idea again, the brainchild, our CEO, decided that it's time for us to have our own rehabilitation center. And it's state of the art. If you have not visited, I don't know, have you visited Malacca?
Oh, Dato' Sri has been asking me to go.
I think it's time, especially now. I think more so ever, there's a need to go and try out the facilities, because I've seen people myself when we send our cases to the centers, from not being able to walk, they come out more confident. They're able to walk. They become independent, even much better than the way they were before. Because the way this place is structured is, you go in, you have therapy, but at the same time, you also have to go for social integration as well. So whether you go fishing, they bake together, and when you have festivities, they're all together. And then, they start preparing, not just on the mental mindsets, but preparing them going back to work. So they will understand what is the work needs like, and then, train them on the jobs that they need to do. For example, if they were amputees before and now they have to wear prostheses, make sure that they wear the prostheses and they have to walk number of hours, and then increase the pace and monitor all this and give feedback. And we even provide hostel accommodation for the family. So for those who need the care and support, there's also family activities, running programs. So just so much of things happening there that increases the moral of the individual. And again, supporting the employers back so that we make sure that they're able to go back and do their work as per how they were doing before. So today we have one in Malacca. We've also opened the one in Marus, which is even larger. I think that's also another center you need to visit. And we have upcoming Terengganu, Sarawak, and a few others as well. But the model is the similar as what I mentioned. It's not just a rehab center, but it's an integrated, the psychosocial elements as well. So moving along, while we continue to support our beneficiaries with injuries or illnesses throughout this process, came along, the EIS in 2017, a very critical act, just right in time before COVID. All right. So as you are aware, I think in terms of the benefits of this is really to provide income replacement, temporary income replacement for an individual who has loss of employment, right? Due to, even if for MSS, BSS and all that we do cover, including for those persons with disabilities who have just lost their job because they were not able to be accommodated as well. So over here, what happened was, why I'm touching on this specifically is that when, I don't know if you remember, there was Jobs Malaysia under the Ministry of Human Resources. So they were also doing their role, and PERKESO was also looking at our role, and we started off with persons with disabilities. But because we have employers within the system, we have employees. So looking at that framework that we had, the ministry decided that Jobs Malaysia to be handed over to PERKESO, which meant that we no longer just dealt with insured individuals or beneficiaries under PERKESO, but we also had to look at every single job seeker, regardless of their background, including persons with disabilities, meaning that we assist from those who leave school right up to professionals through MyFit Jobs to obtain employment opportunities. And of course, for today's topic, we do have specific initiatives to assist those persons with disabilities, job creation, and so on, which I'll be sharing with you. So this is how really on a high level where PERKESO is involved in assisting persons with disabilities as well as employees with injuries or illnesses to support them back to work. So if I zoom down to how we actually support persons with disabilities specifically, we have 3 areas in which we do provide support. Of course, the enabler, the game changer is MyFit Jobs, which is the platform, but we all know that platforms alone do not work. There's much requirement in terms of humanization, where we have caseworkers, not just like how I mentioned about how we help beneficiaries as well. We also have caseworkers who help individuals with loss of their employment. Sometimes they've been employed for 5-6 years, and then there's a change of industry, they need training and so on. And we provide trainings as well, but only for beneficiaries. But at the same time, we look at what the resumes are like, whether there's a need to tweaking, they need a change of industry and so on. So that's where they are assisted. And again, the caseworker helps an individual, not necessarily if it's a beneficiary, but even if it's a person with disability, to assist them to ensure that they are on track in order to, get employment opportunities. We have the portal, which is a very much competencies-based or skills match-based portal in which it's free for all employers and any job seekers 16 and above to register. The beauty of the portal is that not just based on AI, but today I think we no longer talk about just occupation or the job titles or education. We really look at what the person is able to do in terms of what are the skill sets at present and compared to what is required by the employer. So then the system matches and gives recommendation to what jobs that match with them on an instantaneous basis. They no longer have to wait. Like previously, I think some portals you have to wait for, the night email that you will receive matches for the day. But here on, at any time when the match in an employer enters a vacancy, and if it matches with your profile, they will get the notification and they can apply for the job. But the added beauty is that training recommendations to fill in gaps that they have based on the need of the employer can be provided. And we have integrated data with HRDC in which there are training programs that can actually be attended by the individuals. And for beneficiaries, PERKESO can cover those training programs. And for non-beneficiaries, they will utilize whatever other funding that's available or self-pay, but training programs recommended by agencies that work with us, including HRDC. And the other area in which we are very strongly looking into is the labor market data, because PERKESO has a combination of the social security data in terms of industry, in terms of all employer-related data parameters, as well as supply and demand as well. So what we're doing, not just for PWDs, but for everyone, is that through this data lake that we have unemployment projections, we have skill projections, and so on, in which we take this back to school, the secondary students, for us to share with counselors what are the trends and demands of the employers today, so that they are more aware. Of course, there is a gap in terms of education for persons with disabilities, because the curriculum and the infrastructure is much less compared to the mainstream education system. But nevertheless, we still try our level best. We work with the Department of Welfare and the schools as well, special needs school, for us to share these data with them. We have dashboards that we have shared with them and continuous programs so that the students are aware about their strengths. When we go down to schools, many of them are not even able to articulate what their strengths are like, and then how would they know what are the matches for them? So these are things that we go down to just share what they are, what the strengths are, and what are the matches based on the labor market data that we have. And today we even have a center, because recognizing this demand, we have a center at New Central for those who are free and able to attend. We partnered with HRDC for this, in which is a career exploration center to help anyone, any individuals, job seekers, right, school leavers who would want to know what their aptitude, what their skill set are, and what the career pathway to be, in terms of jobs, what are the wages that they will be offered, and so on. But this is only available, or we are able to do this because of the data sets that we have, right? Okay, so these are the things that it's our focus in PERKESO. But if I zoom down a little bit on the services that we do provide to employers, which I will be sharing with you later, yeah. But let me just complete what we have. What are the programs that we also have for employers? In terms of persons with disabilities, apart from other rehabilitation programs in which we have group clinics or rehab clinics, we call it, in hospitals, where we have regular follow-ups with all the doctors at the private and the public hospitals as well. We have a special program because, as you all know, mental disabilities, is on the rise. So we do have a special program, which we call it Restart. It's an integrated program together with the public health with ministry and all the public sector hospitals, in which we have the occupational therapists and the psychiatrists on board for us to have a regular, I would say, rehabilitation programs for beneficiaries, in which we refer to them. And there are cases in which who are non-beneficiaries but completed the rehabilitation program is referred to us for job placement. So even the occupational therapists themselves use My Future Jobs as a job simulation exercise for them to prepare themselves on work that they can go for, and then the rehab aspects for them to be ready to go back to work. So this is something that we have together with the public sector hospitals. I think many may not be aware of this. So if you have, employees that you see that have this, I would say, potential of mental disability, and they have been diagnosed and needing assistance, please feel free to reach out to PERKESO, because we are there to provide you the support, and the ecosystem there is there and present for us to assist you and ensure that they are able to go back. Rehabilitation is also provided, and also in terms of retention, the beauty is that on the retention part, even the psychiatrists and the occupational therapists are available for support. So supposing after the completion of the program, the person goes back to work, but there could be accommodation issues or could be a trigger after just coming back after a long time, the doctors or the occupational therapists actually come down together with us to understand what the problem and if there are any adjustments and so on. Of course, if the person is not able to continue to work, we would definitely inform the employer and so on and look at, what we need to do. But at least we are able to manage to some extent, what they can do, what are the alterations, what are the work accommodations that we need to do. We will advise on that. So this is the advantage of the restart programs that we do provide to employers as well. In terms of the added support that we provide to employers is that we have, I spoke about My Future Jobs earlier, in which we not only support job seekers, looking at their resumes and so on, we also provide support to employers. So how do we provide support to employers? So employers can at any time use the portal, advertise vacancies, you can, there's no numbers, there's no limit for you to actually advertise the vacancies. And you can, of course, specify if you would like to be inclusive and you're looking for someone who has a disability and would like to support, you can always put a mark. There's a parameter there asking you if you would like to hire someone with a disability, or even, you offer flexible work arrangements. So you put all those in and then it matches. We have quite a number of more than 50,000 over job seekers registered with us. And the added advantage that we have is that we do have key account services in which we provide one-to-one support to employers who require a number of PWDs. So for example, if company X are looking for about 10 PWDs to start a PWD initiative, so we have a variety of programs in which we provide, alluding to employment, because there are some companies who are fresh. They've just heard about CSR and they want to be in the game and they want to hire and so on. But before going towards employment, it is important that they understand about the mindset, how to change mindset. Is their workplace ready enough to take on persons with disabilities, or what kind of persons of disability they can accommodate? Are they prepared in terms of handling? Do they know about having a support system in place? So all this is provided to the employers who want to, all this is free. I mean, in terms of consultation, we do not charge employers as well. So any employers, if you are in the game, you would like to hire persons with disabilities, please, we can send out the contacts through the secretariat, and we will like employers to reach out to us for us to assist. And so this is on the employee side. The good thing is now for job seekers, of course, the number of PWDs available may not match the numbers which Chezu mentioned just now as per the welfare department, but we have started having not just portal, but a handheld, an app in which is very accessible to PWDs. So we have a lot of initiatives that are going on to increase the pool of employees. But this is also very important for employers to come in to provide the opportunities for them to see that there are available opportunities for PWDs. And then we believe definitely we can have more people coming on board to see that, yes, there is, opportunities that are provided by employers. So we really hope that employers out there who are really keen to please come forward and support those who are ready to be employed. Just to share a little bit about our initiatives, I would say this is one of the initiatives that we recommended during the budget, during COVID, where we became very active in terms of active labour market programs. So we had the wage subsidy, as you're aware, we had hiring incentives and so on. But of course, we are still having those programs, but it's much of a phase-down approach. We are more targeted towards certain categories for hiring incentives. So we still very much want employers to look into jobs, creation. So we stimulate job creation by providing these incentives to employers, and which is funded by the government. We provide 600 ringgit for up to 3 months for any employers that are willing to hire an OKU. So this is still up for grab. So for companies who have hired any OKUs, say from December 24, 1st December 2024, right up to 31st December 25, you would be entitled to apply for the incentives. Yeah, so the details are here in terms of the requirement. It's simple. It is either it's a person who was under the written program, who was a beneficiary of PERKESO, or anyone who has the OKU card to confirm they have a disability. So we are flexible to do these two categories for you guys to apply for the incentives. Quite straightforward, I would say. The other things that we are very actively involved, as I mentioned, DET, which is the Disability Equality Training, which we provide together with JKM, which is the Mindset Change Program, in which we anticipate or we hope and encourage employees to become the agents of change, because only if they change the mindsets in the employees, the corporate culture, there will be some, dynamics change and so on, and be prepared for that. We have a more detailed program, in which this one we charge, which is HRD claimable, Return to Coordinator Training, which is a more comprehensive training program that prepares them in terms of understanding what are the types of disabilities, what are the kind of work accommodation that you can do. So very much more specific details to get them really ready in terms of employment. And also, if you have an injury at the workplace, an employment injury, how do you manage the candidate and where do you send them and what do you do? So it's really a detailed program. We have a 3-day program and a 5-day program as well. So again, for this, you can, any times you can reach out to PERKESO as well. So in terms of numbers, since we have started off My Future Jobs, in total, including non-persons with disabilities, we've placed more than 1.4 million, but specifically to those with disabilities, we have placed more than 28,000 individuals back to work. And if you see the PWD category itself, which are non-beneficiaries, we have placed about 14,164 individuals. And there's still a lot of programs that we continuously to do. We have day-to-day interview programs at our local offices. We have got 54 branches. We've got also 293 satellite centers where we work with MCMC and also the rural ministry for us to have our interviews at the rural areas, so that even the rural those on the rural areas can also benefit from the programs that we have. We have one satellite center for OKU specifically at PLPP Bangi, in which we have regular programs. So for those who have been trained under PLPP Bangi, which is under JKM, we also do regular profiling, preparation for employment, and also interviews. So we bring interviews at the center so that they can meet the candidate and hope that we can match them as soon as possible. So these are among the programs that we continue to do. And last but not least, we continue to do what we can to support persons with disabilities. So we're looking at many more active labor market programs that are specific to changing the mindset of employer, guiding them, providing support, job coaching. Job coaching is also another initiative in which we work with the welfare department. We train employers to become job coaches. Okay, so we have about at least, I would say 10 to 15 job coaches who are trainers for employers, in which we work with the ministry as well. And we also very much actively, I would say, in the space, in the International Social Security Forum, in which we do share with best practices and so on. And there are joint publications of how the written work practices have happened and so on. So these are all available on our website, for you guys to look into policy frameworks that we have in regards to the employment of OKUs. So I guess that's pretty much of which, and on a high level, that I want to share with you what we offer in PERKESO. Back again to what the president mentioned just now, not just on the hiring part, but the retention and hoping that, we look at inclusivity and they become a member just like us and become an inclusive member in the society. As we always say that, look at the ability and not the disability. Thank you.
Sorry, can I ask a
Yes,
question
sure.
before that?
Sure.
I think an excellent presentation and a lot of things, even I'm learning, but there's so many things that. But I wanted to ask you a question, just like HRBC, where they have allocated one day, Thursday, for employers to see them for whatever issues they have. While we can still, even like you said, it's all in the web, we can do that, but nothing like a face-to-face discussion. Does SOCSO have allocated a day or half day or something, or is our plan to do that?
Okay, I think we would definitely bring your recommendation back. We don't have that because we do have 54 counters that are open at any time. So anyone can walk into those counters at any time. So I think maybe that's perhaps one of the rationale that why they were not a particular day, but I can definitely bring up this recommendation to see if we can have a face-to-face, maybe, the middle managers for them to be able to meet the public. Yeah, channel it. Thank you.
Thank you. Now I'll leave it.
Okay. Any questions from the floor, or maybe there's one here? May I know if SOCSO could provide mental awareness talk to? Definitely we do. We've even started work for public sector as well. in which for this year alone, we'll be doing non-stop advocacy for the public sector so that they are ready to hire PWD. So if you see JPA's article just a day or two before, they are really looking into pushing the agenda of the employment of OKU. So yes, we definitely can support. We do not provide counseling services, but we would do provide, we can work with our partners to bring in those experts as well if you need counseling sessions as well as in particular. Yeah, okay. Any other question? Yeah, this one from HRDC. DET. Okay, right. So for DET programs, we have between 7 to 10 programs a year. And I think we can share the schedules with you for the upcoming ones. We are also happy to do specific ones. So for example, if you have company, a large company, and you have at least about 20 employees who are, you want to put them into for the DET project, we can actually do it separately for you as well. So a tailor-made program. So at any time you want to, just reach out. It's just that it's important for us to have a minimum number of 20 to 25 so that the coach was usually an OKU themselves. So this is the unique thing about the DET program. By rule, supposedly the trainer has to be an OKU. So there are certain trainers that has been, certified and they've gone through the training, and we would contract them to provide the training for the employees. So just reach out to us. I think I will share some some emails and phone numbers so that you guys can actually reach out to them for the programs. Any other questions? Okay, sorry. Oh, yes.
You all have a career. What is the age limit? The minimum age and the maximum age you can, enjoy these benefits?
Right. For benefits, cash benefit related payment and so on.
Like EIS and the other benefits.
It's usually up to 60 for employment injury for EIS. However, if you are a person who are still working, although you're above 60, if anything happened under the employment injury scheme, you are still entitled, you are still covered if anything happened arising out of work, regardless of age. It is only the invalidity scheme that stops at 60. Okay, so and there are also certain conditions that if you are morbid, you have very severe morbidity before age 60, and it really surfaces after age 60. And if it can be proven, we can actually take it to the medical board for you to claim as well, provided the comorbidity is very, very obvious and it arises before age 60. But for services, for employment services, regardless of the age, regardless of the benefits, even if you're not qualified for loss of employment, you're not qualified for any other benefits under PERKESO, for services, there are no conditions at all. We would definitely support. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you. Yes, Jesse.
Can you elaborate more? What are the incentives that the employer will enjoy if they hire?
Okay.
And will it be extended after end of 2025?
Okay. Right. So the benefit is that, of course, 3 things, I think. One is for us to support you to identify the right candidates if you would like to hire an OKU. Number 2, providing the, infra in terms of the readiness, right? Like I said, we have DT, job coach or whatever. The readiness to make sure that they're able to be supported at work. Thirdly, we're able to also support by providing financial incentives of 600 ringgit a month for up to 3 months. This is a government-funded program. If you hire them between, like I said, 1st December 2024 right up to 31st December 2025, you apply through our website, which is the Kerjaya Madani portal, PERKESO, in which we will just confirm 2 things. One, he's an OKU card holder. And if he's not, whether he's a beneficiary of PERKESO under the written to program. So as long as you qualify for either 2 of these, we will approve the benefits and we will pay to the employee directly. And there are no limits. Even if we've hired 20 OKUs for this program, we would definitely approve that as long as you qualify these 2 conditions. It's quite straightforward. Okay. Any other questions? I'll hand it over to the MC. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, we would like to invite. Next, we would like to invite Mr. Nizam from ILO to present on the next step for furthering inclusive employment for PWDs.
As we conclude our today's session, we encourage interested companies to come forward and partner with us in piloting the on-job training or JT programs. This initiative is not solely about the training itself, but more importantly, it aims to understand real workplace challenges, document experiences, and propose innovative solutions that can pave the way forward for more inclusive employment practices, which practical for SMEs. The project is also in the process of appointing implementing partners. We will work closely with participating companies to support this effort, among others, to deliver in-demand skills training and reasonable adjustment in the workplace. Ultimately, insights from this pilot will contribute towards the development of practical policy advice and guidelines to help SMEs create more inclusive and supportive work environments for all. And there will be another two key capacity building programs in which the UNDP and ILO is still initiating to implement it. First, on tentatively on 6 and 7 November, there will be a capacity building program for the government officers with regards to the technical assistance that will be provided by ILO on the inclusive employment to promote inclusive employment. And secondly, somewhere in October, UNDP also in discussion with Bursa Malaysia, where there will be a conference that will feature how to implement on the business insights on implementing inclusive employment, especially PWDs, and how the SMEs can learn from the multinational companies, as we would like to look into the whole value chain of the business. And thirdly, there will be ASEAN Disability Forum this year. It is an initiative under the United Nations, Malaysia, and we will keep you posted on this ASEAN Disability Forum. Thank you.
Everyone, we'll now have MEF President Imam Bakir and Dr. Saib Singh to close the session.
Thank you. Now, I would also like to thank our members. I think we have today almost 200 members joined us, and that's something that I think is really excellent. In fact, I think this is the topic that is of importance, and we are able to get that number of people listening. I think all the presentation we start off with the objective from UNDP, presentation by ILO, presentation by HRDC, and also presentation of SOCSO. We have all learned a lot. Even I myself didn't know some of these schemes existed. I think if I had shared them at the global platform, it would be a lot more interesting. But as we all know, this is not an end game. We will, obviously HRDC and SOCSO are continuously looking at, areas to work on. And this is something that work in progress will always be improving to safeguard the human resource in this country. I would also like to say to members, I know some of you may have questions, you may not have the time to ask, write to us, and we will make sure that we will forward it to HRDC and we'll forward it to SOCSO, and if something on ILO, and get back to you in that response. I just want to end by saying that this subject is very close to my heart, and I've on all these years, before I was defined as OKU, I've always challenged and this issue, because every human life is important. Every human life must be respected, and
decency about it. And every human life has a dream, has an ambition. And we must make sure that we are able to provide the opportunity to this particular group so that they too live a life of humanity and they live a life where they feel they are contributing and they are valued part of society. At the same time, I also want to highlight to all employers, people with difficulty, they come in various shapes and sizes. It's all totally different. You know, one may be on a wheelchair, but the other one can perfectly walk. And so the jobs that are available, in fact, you can find many people who may be defined as people with difficulties, but they can perform the job outstandingly. On programs, you are able to support this group of people, because they are humans too. And they are Malaysians, and I think we should do everything possible to make sure that, they are respected. And many of them are, very highly qualified, many of them have great talents. And we have this phobia or the perception, the moment you are PWD, you can't work. And that's totally wrong. So I appeal to all employers out there, seriously, look at this. I know, of course, some employers are not able to do that because, one of the constraints in Malaysia, which I hope somewhere the government, maybe HRDC, maybe SOCSO, can work together, because one of the biggest obstacles for OKUs is the physical presence of buildings. And if you find, many organizations, even government buildings, don't have facilities for OKU. I give you one example. I was asked to sign a couple of forms on behalf of EPF at the state building of Selangor in Shah Alam. That building is an old building. And they did not put in lift. So I had to climb, I think, almost 4 levels of the building to get there. The lifts are built right extreme corner, which means you've got to walk all the way there. You've got to walk all the way back. And I could easily have put a lift in the center. They said they don't have budget. Yeah. So I think we must, as stakeholders, work together to also, get the government to enforce that buildings have this facility for people with difficulty, and we can talk about all these and we can talk about all employments, but if you don't do this, it's quite difficult. Yeah. So how do you expect somebody with the OKU has a problem walking to go up if your office at the 5th floor? That's what's difficult. So, but having said that, I just want to end up by saying, let's treat every human life with dignity. Let's also make every effort so that we stay by the statement, no one is left behind. And I'm sure as Malaysians, all of you will agree. And I'm hoping that, please do every effort to hire these people. With that, I end here. Thank you.